Welcome to this guided series for workers and resources Soviet Republic. In this part, we're going to be taking a look at oil refineries, and we're going to talk about why you want to build one, where you were going to build it, and some of the other issues around managing your oil refinery. And that's very much tied into the planning phase. But before that, I just want to give you an update of what we were doing in the last part, which is we implemented crime and justice. And we are on a new year now. And the first thing I want to show you here is I finally managed to capture somebody being investigated. And what you can see is the investigation is already 26% on the way towards completion. The statute of limitations is safe. And more importantly, on the right hand side here, you'll see it says chance to solve 98%. Now, one tip I will give you, if for some reason your investigations start to stack up and say you've got more than 10, what you can do is look at these and then say, look for the minor crimes and then maybe get rid of them so that your police can focus on the medium and major crimes. So it's a way of kind of, yes, you're going to push back a criminal into your economy, but that's better than somebody who's committed a serious offence getting back in. The way you want to look at it is that those who created minor crimes, you're letting them off with a warning. It's probably the best way to do it. And if we let this run, what you'll see is that this, just let it run very quickly. What you'll see is the investigation goes through really quickly. The reason for that is at the moment we've got more police officers than we've actually got criminals. Now, the other thing I want to show you is this overview map. Because as I say, we're kind of we're on the 8th of March at the moment. So if I kind of this, and I just want to give you an overview, just turn off that. And see, if you look round now, we've got no instances of the area being unpatrolled, which is very, very useful. We've already had a few minor crimes. Obviously, people like committing minor crimes in the shops. Is something also I didn't mention in that video is that you can get crimes out in your industries. It's not particularly that much to worry about, but be aware that you can do that. Medium crimes, we've got a couple of medium crimes. We've got 3 medium crimes in the shopping mall. Again, not seeing anything else there. Just have a quick check to see if there's any out in the industry out here. Nope. And then major crimes. Have we got any major? How many major crimes we've got had so far? Again, we've had 3 major crimes in the shopping mall. So obviously this is quite a dangerous place. I think also there's kind of, you need to remember that it's because you've got your residents coming in from other areas. Maybe your criminals are hanging out in the shopping mall. Just have a quick look actually, idle curiosity. Well, we got some over 21s. Maybe you got people hanging around making a nuisance of themselves. So I think crime's under control. We've got that annoying little buzzy guy floating around there. And the other thing I want to show you is that I've now got the railway out to here, and we're trying to push the rail construction train to here. The reason for doing this is that I want to connect up the gravel aggregate loading here so that we can move the gravel across the map. Also, we are currently working on the asphalt plant, and hopefully that's built. We've got asphalt available, which I've imported by using the train. Trains play a very big part, and so that is the current situation. If we come back across the map, sorry, it's getting dark. And what I've got now is the track builders sharing the track with the train. And we are also still export the oil that was being produced up there next to the construction industry is now being exported. So if I show you that, you'll see that we are making a fair amount of money from so we're now making money from the export of oil, but that's not the best way to use oil, which I'll be talking about in a minute. And we are making slow but steady progress out here at the moment with respect to trying to get a road connection, which is going to be quite important as well. I think that's enough distraction. What we've got to do now is get down into oil refinery. I want to start why you want to build an oil refinery. So if we come to the economy, and this is quite an interesting mechanic to get a profile of what you want to do. And if I go to this year and show you the imports, what you'll see is that already this year we've imported 161 tons of fuel, and it's cost us 42,000 rubles. The only items that have cost us more so far is steel. Now, steel is always going to be a very expensive prospect, but the difference between steel and fuel is that steel, you can kind of call a moratorium on building to save money by not importing steel. The problem with fuel is that there is always going to be a demand for fuel, and you can see that if we go back to last year and show it there, you'll see that there's a steady import of fuel all the time. And then also I want to show you below here is the amount of money we spent last year on asphalt. So of the top three, two of them are related to the oil refinery, which is fuel and asphalt. I know the oil refineries don't produce asphalt; they produce bitumen, which is then used as part of making asphalt. So you can see a big proportion of our overheads are oil related. I say the only thing that costs more is steel, but that's down to construction. And then, of course, what we've got below is all the other various bits and pieces. There's also another interesting thing I want to show you is the fact that you can see that the liquid fertilizer is only imported between, well, was it April to the end of it? Let me just see here. It's April to April, May and June. What this shows is when the liquid fertilizer is used on your fields, and that's between April, May and June. That's the growing period. You can see here is the biggest spike is actually in April, slightly more lower in May. Now if I show you the fertilizer, you see the pattern is different. The fact that the pattern picks up in August when the harvest starts, and then what happens is the fertilizer is spread through the year right through and to the to February. So you can see the actual ordinary fertilizer is spread over a longer period compared to the liquid fertilizer. So this is so what this does is gives you an idea of how certain items are actually used, and I must admit this is quite useful. Turning back to here is that fuel is a constant drain on the economy, so the sooner you can become independent in fuel, the better. And that's the reason why you want to build an oil refinery. And of course there's also the bitumen, because bitumen, yes, you need it to build roads and you will use a lot of it as part of your construction industry, but also it's also a pretty good source of revenue. If we go back to here and look at the prices, you can see that you can sell bitumen in rubles for 468.33 rubles per ton. And I'll tell you up front now, you will have to sell bitumen for a reason which I'll explain once we get into looking at the refinery in more detail. So the next thing I want to talk about is, where do you build an oil refinery? Now, a common mistake in this game is for someone to say, right, I've got a couple of pump jacks here, I'm going to build the oil refinery next to it. Now, that is not a good way to decide where to put your oil refinery, simply because, just to give you an idea, if we come to fossil fuels and show the oil refinery, and you can see here that an oil refinery at maximum production will consume 250 tons of oil. If you consider the fact that a pump jack produces 7 tons of oil, you're talking that to keep an oil refinery at maximum capacity, you need about 30 pump jacks. Now, and all the years I've been playing this game, I've never been able to put 30 pump jacks down on a big oil field. So what you invariably end up with is these being scattered across the map. So yes, it's nice to put your oil refinery close to somewhere where there are pump jacks. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do it, but your bigger consideration is logistics, because as your map grows, you're going to need to be able to send that fuel across the map. And of course, the logical form of transport is rail, because it's a bit self-defeating to send trucks out on long journeys when they're actually burning the very fuel that they're transporting. So what you're looking for is a location which has got a good connection to the railway, so you can move the fuel and the bitumen around the map. And I'll be completely upfront, I used to kind of just use that as a basis, but there is an option now which makes it kind of a lot more attractive to build your oil refinery within, say, a kilometre of the border. And the reason for that is that if we come over to research, we find the Soviet headquarters, there is some research down here now. It's these ones here. And just if I show you the research tree, what they got them here, it says pipeline connection to Western countries. And then you also get one, well, you get one to Western countries, one to Soviet countries. Now, this research is kind of different from all the other research we've been doing so far. They're part of a group where you have to research it to get the pipeline. And it says here, will undergo negotiations to establish one new pipeline connection to the Soviet Republic. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start researching that, because we are going to use a pipeline connection. And the thing you need to know about that is that those connections are unidirectional. So it's not like power or a custom shed. When you put it on the border, you either export with it or import with it. And this is what makes being close to the border being attractive for two reasons. The first reason is that you can use a import option to bring oil in. That means the oil will come here, flow in by pipelines. And this is why I was saying that you don't want to be too far away from the border. And there's also the option that you can use a pipeline connection to actually export your surplus bitumen, and you will get surplus bitumen, because again, if I come back to the actual oil refinery, you'll see that that 250 tons of oil turns into 125 tons of fuel and 75 tons of bitumen. Now, bitumen is only really used to make asphalt, so it's tied into the oil construction industry. Unless you've got lots and lots of construction going on and it's all being shipped across the map, you will eventually build up a surplus. Now, one of the characteristics of factories is that if you're producing two items like this, if the output storage of one fills up, it actually stops the factory. So the factory doesn't carry on. So, for example, if the bitumen tank fills up, it won't carry on producing fuel. It has to produce both at the same time. So what we're going to do is put the oil refinery here. Now, also, when considering where to put the oil refinery, you need to have a fairly dedicated workforce. And again, you can see the workforce here is 500. So we've got to have a dwelling nearby that can provide us with at least 1,500 workers, and also the ability to send those workers to the factory. And I'll give you a tip now, guys. Buses is not the way forward. But what I will do is I'll be showing you another option, which I think a lot of players actually neglect. But again, we may have to do the research. So what we're going to do is put an oil refinery down. Now, I think I'm going to pop it down a little bit, kind of out this way. Doesn't really matter too much where we put it. But the way I've actually put it is so that and this is what you need to consider when you place it, is which side where your inputs are and where your outputs are. You can see we've got two inputs here, and what I'm considering is that we've got already got an oil tank here, and what I'm going to do first is we're going to use this oil tank as our primary source. So I'm going to hook it up. No, I want you to come in from the top like that. So what we're going to do is bring the oil in here, because this is already connected to these pump jacks. But of course, we've also got oil on the other side of the map. So we're going to need to put in a a fuel loading, unloading for trains. And what I want to do is put this here. But I want to put it that way round, because this will serve a dual role. And we're going to put you down about there, like that. Now what I'm going to do is we're going to go there, and we're actually going to pump the oil from this loading station into there like that. Now you'll notice that I'm not putting pumps in between because as I previously described, and I think in a previous part, is that if you've got a direct connection to a source, which is the oil refinery, tank is treated as an extension of this oil refinery's internal storage. And trains offloading here will be able to push the oil into here because this is seen as an extension of this terminal here. So what we'll got is a bit of a closed system. Now the other pipe I want a connection here, I want to keep open for something else. So what we got now is we can deliver the oil in, and of course the first thing we're going to do now is come out here nice and straight, make a connection there, because we're going to need to bring lots of other oil in by train. Now I'm just going to accept that. Now one thing you don't want to do is put the crossover here. You need, because oil trains can be a bit long, especially if they've been set up by the distribution offices, and we will be using distribution offices. So we've now got a connection here of the train actually coming into this area here, and we've got the crossover which will allow the oil trains to swap backwards and forwards. So the next thing we need to do is consider the output. Now I'm going to use the large tanks because and what I'm going to do is we're going to put one here, and of course we're producing fuel and bitumen, so we do need to have 2 large oil tanks here like that. And what we're going to do now is we got the oil coming in, so what we need to do now is send the fuel out and the bitumen out. So we need to hook those to there, and we'll accept that. What that means is that as the fuel and bitumen fill up into here, we can use this to send the bitumen across the map to our construction areas, and of course we'll use this as a fuel distribution. Oops, again we're just going to go underground because what we're going to need to do is connect you up to there and you up to there. So we've now got these 2 tanks here. Now of course we've still got to think about local distribution, and what we need is a road truck thingy here. So we're just going to put you in about there. Now we've got a bit of a problem here because we want to distribute fuel locally to this area, but there's also a possibility that we may want to put, say, an asphalt plant within range. There's also the option possibly for an export. So what I'm going to do is we're going to put an underground pumping station there. I think we can run this road up here. No, we're gonna have to put a power supply in here anyway, so what we'll do is we'll put in an underground pumping station here. I must admit I do have an inclination towards using underground pipes, and then what we'll do is hook you up to there, and what that means is that vehicles coming into here can draw both bitumen and fuel from into their actual vehicles. So basically what we got now is the ability to bring oil in, and we can probably now take this road here. I want to keep it fairly tight like that, so that gives us the road connection. Hopefully our guys will to detect that. I think they're both working on that area there. And of course what we're going to need to do is put a road system through here. Can I walk? I could get a... Aha! Oh, that's a little bit annoying. That's okay. What we can do is kind of branch off like that. Let's come out slightly like that. Run a road through here. We can connect up that, and that. Actually, what I am going to do is put a road up through here as well. And we're going to run a road through to about there. The reason I'm putting this road here is that what we're most likely going to need is a fire station down here as well. This will be a very valuable asset, and therefore we can't afford it to risk letting it burn down. So we've now kind of got the basic oil refinery set up. Now this is where things can get a bit interesting. This is the reason why we got the border pipe connection here, because we, as I said, we've already designated one of these as the bitumen thing. Now if I get the pipeline connector again, you see that we got two more connections here. What I'm going to do now is we're going to build a small, I don't want to obstruct that pipeline, so we'll actually drop that there. That's the wrong way around. Get rid of that, cancel. Actually, what I'm going to do now is we're just going to build something. Actually, we could probably put it about there, actually, like that. And then we can remove this road here, like that. Connect these two together, a road, and then connect you there. Now this is going to be another bitumen tank, so what we're going to do is come here, pick this up, and we're going to run you down under, actually we're going to connect you up to there. Now the purpose of this bitumen tank is to provide our pipeline exports, and to do that, what I'm going to do now is put in a pump here. This will make sense, guys. And we're going to put a pump in here, like that. We'll connect that road up as well too. Let's put that road connection in there. Now, let's just go and just wanted to go and check the. Whoops, I keep pausing for some reason. Want to check the research. How far off are we? Got a long way to go yet before we get the pump connection. So I'm going to have to talk about this theoretically. Now, the downside of using foreign connector pipelines is the fact that they grab everything they can from a supply tank. So the last thing you want to do is connect one of these to, say, this tank here, because what will happen is that all the bitumen that's being produced will be immediately exported, which is no good if you want to use bitumen to shift around the map. So the way to do it is to put in a second small tank like this, and then what happens is that when the oil refinery is producing bitumen, it will, because these are both connected to the oil refinery, what will happen is the oil refinery will kind of split the output by sending some to this tank and some to that tank. And of course, if this tank fills up, this is the scenario that we really want to be aware of. If this tank fills up because we're not sending that much bitumen around the map, the surplus will flow into here, and because this, it will have a direct connection to the actual border crossing. Anything that flows into here will go across the border and be sold for profit. Now, the thing you need to be aware about the exterior pipelines is they are unidirectional, so you can only either export or import with them, and they are also passive. So you can't connect one directly to a fuel tank, which is the reason why we've got this pump here. You've got to have a pump that either pushes the oil out or draws the oil in. And another advantage of having a pump like this is the fact that if I come over to where we have got active pumps, so if we come to, where's there's got to be one in here somewhere, there it is. What you'll see is you've got the ability to actually switch off the pump itself or the direction where oil flows. You can also set priorities, although to be honest, I've never really found these priorities particularly that useful. And that is another potential option which you could use over here instead of connecting this tank directly to the oil refinery. What you could do is put a pump in here and then split the priorities between this tank and that tank. So you'd put, basically you'd put, in fact, let me just redo it, guys, and I'll just show you what I'm talking about. So, and this is another option. I mean, it will work. So what you do is you press shift, take that there, and what you do is you put in, say for example, you put in a, just flip that the other way, so, and if I could get it in about there. What you do is you put the pump there, then you can, in fact we'll leave it this way just as an experiment. Probably go out that one. No, I don't want to interfere with that. No, that won't be used, so go down. And what that will do is connect into there. And what we've kind of set up here is basically what will happen is that this pump will draw the oil out of the refinery here, and the internal storage of the refinery is 340 tons and 250 tons. What this will do is draw the bitumen out of here, and then what you could do is set up a priority here to say I want the most to go to this tank, but I want the other stuff to go to the second tank, which will then can be used to export across the border. So maybe that would be a slightly better setup. And another advantage with this is that it will actually draw all the oil out, all the bitumen out of the oil refinery itself. So maybe that is another possible option. I've never really considered it, because as I say, this has got an export tank of 340 tons of fuel. So you could make the argument that by putting a pump in here, so what you could do is literally is connect this one to this one, so that because pumps can pump both liquids, and what that would do is ensure draw all the fuel out of here into this tank for a further export. Maybe that might be an option actually. Let me just say I've always in the past just do it, so I think maybe it's time I did a bit of experimentation. This is the thing about this game. The moment you think you know everything about it, this game will crop up dilemmas which will question everything that you know. And so sometimes it just pays to do a little bit of an experiment to see what actually works, because it's all about logistics and efficiency. So we'll go with that type of setup and just see how it goes, because it just simply means is that all the fuel will be drawn out of the oil refinery and put into this tank, which then would make it available for distribution across the map. So what I'm going to do now is, obviously I need to wait for that research to finish. So what I'm going to do is just let the game run, because again we're still in this catch-up mode. What I would really like to do before I finish this video is get that research done. So we're just going to come back up here and see how much research still needs to be done. We're up to 72%, so we're nearly there. So while that's going on, what I'll do is we'll just go a little bit of a look round and see what we've got. So we've now got, it says resource missing gravel. Why is that? Is this the right way around? What I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete this. I think I might have made a mistake here. Yeah, that's going the wrong way. Aha. Yeah. So we got a bit of a problem here with this. Okay, what I'm going to do is, this is the advantage of being able to do this with, and yeah, I put this one the wrong way, around the wrong way. It's easily fixed when you can auto build, but it's not that easily fixed if you make the same mistake, or if you're playing in you're playing in realistic mode. So we'll just put you there, and we'll just hook you up to there. And then what we'll do is we'll just very quickly shift, just build this up here. Yep. So we've now, basically what we've got now is we're going to need workers. So we're going to see if we can find a location where we got a few workers here. Well, now we don't need that many workers in the asphalt plant. So what we could do is just come here and we're just by actually I just had a thought. We got a few dollars. These Mars buses are quite useful, but again, that's no, I think we'll start with some mini buses. So we get 1, 2, 3 of those, and then what you guys are going to do is pick up this one. You can pick up off the back here. This is the reason why I don't like having a bus station in the center. I like to be able to split up the draw so that I can kind of drive the workforce to the area that I want. Where we did build a bus stop here. Where is it? There. And you can go there. We're probably going to need to make an end connection out here to make this route a little bit more efficient. Because at the moment, they're just kind of doing the line spacing, and we'll go 1, 2. Although to be honest, ordinary line spacing is quite good. Maybe we'll put an end connection in once we got it going. So what that will mean now is that we've now got our asphalt plant operational here. Now we should get it operational because we got fuel in here. I think what we will do is put you on there. Of course, the next thing we need to do is work out our system out towards here. But to be able really to bring the concrete plant online, we need this. So we really need to start trying to push some of these roads out. We need that built as well. There's a little bit of road just built there. I'm just going to speed the process up a little bit from that point of view. Okay, we've now finished our pipeline connection. So we're just going to leave our guys to do their own thing. And what I'm going to do now is just show you the actual, so we get back to over here. What you'll find is the foreign connection now, it becomes, basically what happens is this becomes active, and you can see it says building needs placing on the border. So we just flip that round. The road's on the right side, and you'll see what will happen is that when it's in the right position, it will go green. And then what I have to do is actually let me just remove that road. There needs to be a road connection to get it built as well, and that can come there. Oops. Now what I'm going to do just to show you is we're going to very quickly build this with it so that I can actually show you the way the mechanism actually works. So what you see here now, it says you can define the import. You click the export, you see it doesn't actually give you anything, because what it does is it's smart enough to know what's coming down the pipeline. It says price per litre. I'm not sure if that's actually knows that it's exporting bitumen or whether it's actually just kind of see, yeah, 436.73. So the game, even though this is not built, the game has worked out that this is going to be a bitumen export, which is a bit strange, but never mind. So what we've got, so this is going to be the setup that we're going to be building. We've got an oil refinery here. We've got a number of tanks to explore it. We'll check out, see how efficient this is. And then we've also got the ability to export surplus bitumen across the border. Now, I'll be completely upfront. I very rarely export excess fuel, except for maybe in the early game if we happen to get a large workforce into here. But that is partly wishful thinking, to be honest. But you never know, we might actually get there. Now, I've got one more thing I want to do in this video. It's got nothing to do with the actual oil refinery. But the other thing I want to do is just here, is the fact that what I want to do is come to here, and I'm looking for aggregate unloading. We don't need a big one, and what I want to do is just tuck in about here. It's got a conveyor connection like that, and then I think we'll come off about here. Press F4 so we get snap, so it looks neat. And what we're going to do is run down here, run into there, get to about there, and connect into there. Accept that. Then what we're going to do here is I want to put a small aggregate store in here, like that. Maybe if I flip that the other way, that's the right way round. So I want to put you about there, and then truck loading. Where's the truck loading, unloading? And then I want to put a loading loading bay here, and then we're gonna take a road close to that roundabout. Turn off F4. Get some one-way roads. Put F4 back on again. We're gonna put you there, and just put you there like that. Now, the reason I've done this is the fact that we're obviously going to do a lot of you're going to need to do a lot of construction in this area with respect to roads and stuff. So if we can actually get the some gravel out here, that's going to make moving the gravel or delivering the gravel to construction sites a lot easier, because what we'll be able to do is use a train to move the available resources, and this is the reason why we're kind of building this area up here. What I've effectively just done is put another great big pile of jobs that need to be done. Because of the way that the economy is growing, what I want to do is make these videos kind of a lot more focused on specific things like the oil refinery. In the next part, we'll be talking about the process of creating our second town out here, and that's when I'll talk about the transport system that we need to do to get to the oil refinery. So this is where I'm going to leave it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it interesting, and until next time, whatever you do, enjoy your gaming.